Order up! Welcome to a brand new episode of the Order Podcast. I'm Taryn Williams. Thank you so much for clicking on this episode. This episode, I'm going to give a brief review of Mortal Kombat Legends Battle of the Realms, which actually just came out not too long ago of me recording this episode of the podcast. And I really enjoyed it. I think it's a pretty fun movie in the world of Mortal Kombat. I was actually kind of looking up some reviews really quickly. Like IGN gave like a 5 out of 10, and it was funny because they were complaining because they wanted to know more about Striker. And if you're a Mortal Kombat fan, Striker doesn't matter at all. So yeah, a lot of times like people were saying like the stories look disjointed, the stories all over the place. But I'm like, it's a Mortal Kombat movie. Like, what are you talking about? You get the things you want. You get a lot of the Legends characters, a lot of the legacy characters. Get to see them fight. I am kind of sad like we didn't get to see like Melina fight more. Like Sonya pretty much beats her ass in like 15 seconds. She basically is a squash match for Sonya. And also Sonya in the two movies that they've done so far is OP as hell. Just throwing that out there. But I enjoy the movie. I think the movie's fun. You get some of the X-ray attacks that they did in the first movie, Mortal Kombat Legends: Scorpion's Revenge. You get some of that. It's just as gruesome. I think because the first one really followed the traditional, like a lot of the early like Mortal Kombat movie where they're on the island and they do it and they go to like the first tournament piece of it. This one's a little bit different because it kind of breaks away from that, and the story's a little bit, it's off kilter. Because again, I don't think it's canon. Well, it's not canon because like Devora makes an appearance, even though Devora doesn't show up in Mortal Kombat until Mortal Kombat X. That's the first time we meet Devora as a character, but she's already in this tournament, so it's kind of this mismatch of characters from different places, and the story is kind of, it's a little bit of Mortal Kombat 11 story, a little bit of it with Shinnok trying to take over. There's no Chronica, thank God, or but there's no Chronica in this, but you do kind of get that. But it actually, the ending of the movie is very similar to Mortal Kombat 11. Excuse me, where Liu Kang becomes a guy. I thought we were gonna get Fire God Liu Kang from Mortal Kombat 11, but he just turns into a big ass dragon, which I personally didn't necessarily care for. It'd be cool if they would have went kind of sort of Fire Thunder guy like they did with Mortal Kombat 11, which is really really sick. Like I love that we get like the dragon tattoos and everything. Thought that was really cool. But yeah, like it's a fun movie. It's just fun to kind of get into. I also like they even throw in some references to Mortal Kombat Anthology. This was, if you remember, the platform Sub Zero, like the Mortal Kombat game, the Mortal Kombat adventure game starring Sub Zero, where you play with Sub Zero. It's really weird. I actually was watching Maximilian dude play it, like his playthrough of it. It's just hilarious. Yeah, but Mortal Kombat, pretty sure it's Anthology. Yeah, pretty sure it's Mortal Kombat Anthology, like the Sub Zero story, because there's actually a part in the movie where Sub Zero and Scorpion are fighting. They're fighting in this cave, and when there's like a wind gust that'll blow you up, and so Scorpion falls, but the wind carries him up, and then Sub Zero jumps through the different like wind currents. That's a reference to that, and I don't think a lot of people might not have caught that, but I was like, oh, I know what that's a reference to. But it was cool seeing like Cyrax and Sector. It was cool seeing Smoke. You got to see both versions of Smoke, human Smoke and Smoke after he becomes a cyborg. Um, the Grandmaster of the Lin Kuei ninjas sucks. I think that was really funny where he's like, "Oh yeah, we're mercenaries. We do what we need to do." But when he finds out towards the end that Shinnok is the person who had them go get this relic, he's like, "Oh, but if Shinnok gets it, he'll destroy the world." And Shinnok's like, "Yeah, I know. I'm Shinnok. That's what I want. That's what I want to do." So yeah, there are some weird parts. The story isn't the best. I'm not gonna sit here and say like the story's the greatest because it's not. But it's fun. Like if you just want to see blood and guts and some fighting, I wish the fight scenes were a little bit longer. Just because like some people just like it's like bam bam and they're done. You know. Spoiler alert: Raiden does die in the movie. Because he actually gives up his mortality to fight in the tournament, which I think he does in the original Mortal Kombat movie. I think he does that. I'm pretty sure he gives up his rate. It's somewhere along the line. He gives up his godship to fight in the tournament, and he ends up dying. But I don't think he really dies per se. Kung Lao dies, which makes me mad because Kung Lao is legit, but he keeps dying in any medium Kung Lao is in. I'm pretty sure he dies. The Devora gets wrecked. Um, Kentaro gets killed. Yeah, and I think because Shao Kahn gets his ass beat. Shang Tsung doesn't die, which I kind of wish he did, but But yeah, and like Liu Kang goes crazy because Liu Kang wins. And I think Liu Kang won five. Or he's won 5 or 6 different Mortal Kombat tournaments. But the movie's definitely fun. I definitely see check it out if you want. Oh, another fun thing that they did was in the beginning, when they started like the Warner Brother animation. So what started a couple of years ago was this whole thing of Ultra Instinct Shaggy. Don't know what that is. Shaggy from Scooby Doo. Someone drew him, but with Goku's Ultra Instinct from the Dragon Ball series, from the Dragon Ball Z series. And then they just came out with Ultra Instinct Shaggy. And it's like this whole fanfic and fan theory thing. It was really fun. So they actually put Ultra Instinct Shaggy into the opening of the movie where he pops out of the Warner Brother logo. He grabs Scorpion and pull him back behind the logo. It's really dope. I thought that was like a really fun little Easter egg for all the fans, for anyone that's who knew that. If you had no idea what that was, you're like, oh, it was Shaggy. Why Shaggy looks like that? That's like a fun little reference. You get very brief of Mortal Kombat, of Liu Kang's mom and dad, like what happened with them, like how they were killed. Like it's kind of crazy. The movie is all over the place. Like no one really matters, but everyone matters for some reason. It's fun. I think it's a fun movie. Like don't read into it. Like it's not thought provoking. It's not like oh like this oh man it's so engaging. No, it's a Mortal Kombat movie. It's about Mortal Kombat. It's about the fighting, the blood, the characters, seeing some of your legacy characters that seeing some people that you might not expect it, like seeing Striker, seeing Jade come back was really cool. Actually, seeing all three of the sisters, seeing Jade, Melina, and Katana together was really cool. Seeing like Devora, who's one of the newest characters in Mortal Kombat, she makes an appearance in this movie. Well, that's really cool. Like all in all, I give it like a 4 out of 5. Like it's not perfect, but I think it's solid, especially if you're a fan of the fight, if you're a fan of the game, fan of the characters, fan of some of the backstory, some of the lore. You get bits and pieces of all of it. It's not a cohesive story, but it's fun. And honestly, we watch movies for fun and to be entertained, and that's what this movie is. It's a fun, entertaining movie. That's what it is. Don't put too much into it. It's not that serious. If you like Mortal Kombat, if you like Scorpion's Revenge, I definitely check it out. I think Scorpion's Revenge was a little bit better because it does have a little more cohesion because it does follow Scorpion particularly. But that movie was also kind of interesting to me because Scorpion was always seen as the bad guy. He's always the bad guy. And in that movie, he's really more of an anti-hero, which is something he doesn't become until later on in the Mortal Kombat universe. Because he gets controlled, I think, for a little while. But Scorpion's Revenge, he's really the anti-hero, and he's our perspective character. Like he's the point of view character for us. In Mortal Kombat Legends Battle of the Realms, everyone's kind of a little bit of perspective. You get a little bit of everybody, which is kind of cool. But it's a solid movie. If you like the first one, watch the second one. Like it doesn't have quite the same cohesion of a story, but it's just as bloody, it's just as much fun. You get more characters you see. You might see some of your favorites. That's how I feel about the movie. But thank you so much for checking out this brand new episode of the Order of Podcast. I greatly appreciate it. Like, share, comment, star it on uh, iTunes, wherever you listen to it. If there's a rating system, give me a thumbs up, give me a star, give me 5 stars. If there's a rating system, help your boy out. I greatly appreciate it. You can follow me on all social media except for TikTok and Snapchat. Uh, you can follow the channel. You can follow my Twitch channel, which is Slice and Dice and Gaming ENT, and the YouTube channel is Slice and Dice and Gaming Entertainment. I've been streaming a little bit more on Twitch. Definitely come through and say hi. I play some sports games, some indie games, adventure games, play a little bit of everything. And you can get all this information I just said on sliceanddiceandgaming.com. That's the official website of the Digital Chef brand. Go over there. There's links to everything. There's links to merchandise, all the channel, the podcast, things of that nature, and my blog. Check it all out. I greatly appreciate it. Always and forever, Slice and Dice and Gaming. Not just a model, it's a lifestyle. See you next podcast. Later.